Joseph is the young leader with broken wings. Joseph was a young man with a fabulous leadership potential. But it seemed he was born in the wrong family. We find some good things in his family too. But the sad truth is that it was such a dysfunctional family, full of hypocrite religiosity, duality, preferential love, favoritism, parties, disputes, jealousy, idols, even incest and murder. All this volcano of evil erupted without mercy towards young and naive Joseph. His own brothers caught him to kill him and finally sold him as a slave to foreigners. Poor young Joseph. He was completely taken by surprise. What a shock for him. What a terrible and unexpected abuse he suffered. I don't think we can imagine what darkness flooded his soul, what deep sorrow and disappointment he felt, what unbearable and incurable wound was made in his fragile heart. The so promising leader Joseph became a so damaged Joseph. His wings were broken. His destiny seemed forever ruined by evil. And there was darkness, and there was loneliness, and there was ruin. Let's imagine we don't know the rest of the story. What we would expect to happen? We could predict for Joseph that he would become an adult slave, emotionally unstable, lacking self-confidence, disappointed with God, and with his heart full of anger and bitterness. But the rest of Joseph's story is so different, isn't it? After several years, we find Joseph with his heart completely healed, full of peace and kindness, full of trust in his God, and so confident in the personal gifts and abilities God put into him. And even more, we find him such a powerful, humble, active and intelligent leader, a wonderful and complete personality indeed, so admired by the whole ancient Egypt. And even more, we find him as a main protagonist of God's redeeming plan for an entire nation that was saved from death caused by famine. And even more, we will find him saving his own dysfunctional family, and we will find him fully reconciled with his brothers, transformed brothers indeed, whom he will lead in perfect unity and harmony to build together the very foundation of a new great nation, the nation of Israel. What an amazing ending of this story, totally unexpected. Leaders with high potential are often hit by evil in their youth or even in their childhood. Injustice, disease, the loss of the beloved ones, or different forms of abuse, and sometimes abuse from their own family. And there will be darkness, and there will be damage. The intention of evil remains the same: to block the growing and to ruin the destiny of the becoming leaders. But the story of young Joseph brings hope even in the middle of the darkest night. The manifestations of evil come from sin and sinful people, and not from God. But the good news is that all the attacks from evil remain under God's control. He limits them, and then He does not abandon the one who is hurt, but He brings encouragement and divine consolation, and then He brings complete healing and restoration. And even more than this, in a complex plan that would take time, God will use the very consequences of the attack of evil to guide, to train, to strengthen the leader to come, and to shorten the process for this leader to fulfill his destiny and release his full potential. Indeed, Joseph was not killed, and he was not let alone. His mental and physical health were well protected. He arrived as a slave at a good master, and he received encouragement from God when he blessed all the work of Joseph's hands and lifted him in the position of a master himself at Potiphar's household. His brother's betrayal brought him to Egypt, but it was in Egypt where his great destiny was planned to be fulfilled. The lies of Potiphar's wife brought him into prison, but it was there he had to meet Pharaoh's servant, who will eventually bring him before Pharaoh exactly at the right moment. And after interpreting Pharaoh's dreams, he will become in just a second the leader and savior of Egypt. And in all this hard journey caused by injustice, Joseph learned faster than others the true humility, the true dependence on God, that he is nothing and God is all. So, at the age of 30, a young age indeed, he could endure all the glory of Egypt and being a national hero and then an international so famous leader. And when we received all the praise of the glorious ancient Egypt, the answer of his lips and of his heart was, "It is not me, but God." He would continue to bear all this glory for the rest of his life without letting his heart be corrupted by pride, pleasure, money, or idol. But it was in his dark time, in the prison of grief and loneliness, where he learned his nothingness, his total inability, and that it is only God, only His power, only His will, only His grace, and only His glory. My dear young leader, if you find abuse, or loss, or great sorrows in your youth, if evil hurts you, maybe through your own family, please do not believe the lie that tells you that you are ruined forever, that the wounds will never heal, that your great destiny for God's glory will never be fulfilled. This is such an impertinent lie, and such far from the truth. It is the leadership story of Joseph that teaches you exactly the opposite. The sorrows, the grief, the abuse, the injustices, the unhealing wound are not proofs of your failure. All of these are strange witnesses in the so-called trial of your unfulfilled destiny. But from above, from the very throne of the one that keeps a perfect control on your destiny, the message of these strange witnesses is quite the opposite, and it is, as the attack is bigger and the hurt is deeper, this means for sure only one thing: your potential as a leader is so big and so precious in the eyes of the Lord, and the fruits of your future ministry and the brightness of God's glory in your future will be beyond imagination. So please, do not let the evil to block your expected growing and development, but search for the divine path to follow. Search for a way of reaction to abuse that will lead you, even in a shorter time, exactly to the complete fulfillment of your fruitfulness. Yes, this is the path that Joseph searched for in the middle of the deepest darkness. He had his tears, his questions, his whys, his moments of despair. But he refused rebellion against God. He refused unforgiveness. He refused disobedience. He refused false gods. He refused revenge. He refused self-pity. Of course, it was a long and difficult journey for the suffering soul of Joseph. But he searched and found God's way and this means to continue to trust God even if you do not understand, to continue to worship God even if you don't have all the answers, to forgive what is unforgivable, to accept what you can't control, to let justice and anger in the hand of the right judge, and in the end, to love and to work together with God for the salvation of the very ones that hurt you so deep. Search for this divine path in the darkest days of your journey, and it will be just a matter of time for your training and unique potential to reach maturity. And then, even from the best guarded prison, God will call you, and nothing will be able to stop your ministry for His glory to begin and to prosper. And there will be light, and there will be fruit, and there will be glory. If you want to explore more the Joseph story of leadership, join us in our tremendous adventure of the biblical map of leadership. Follow on YouTube the 33 episodes of the biblical map of leadership, and for any kind of collaboration, visit our website. And don't forget, if you are a map reader, you will be a great leader.